You woke up today and something felt different. You couldn't quite name it, but deep inside, your spirit was stirring, like an ancient bell had been rung in the heavens, and the echo was vibrating through your soul. You've been through seasons of silence, of waiting, of wondering when it would finally be your time. You've watched others rise, others shine, others receive open doors while you stood faithfully in the shadows. But deep down, you never stopped believing. And that's why this moment has found you. Because the very fact that you're hearing these words right now is proof, undeniable proof, that God has marked this day on His calendar as your billionaire breakthrough moment. This isn't just motivation. This isn't just another message to hype you up for a day and leave you empty tomorrow. This is a divine announcement. God is interrupting your routine, your doubts, your delays, your fears, and He's saying, this is the day where everything changes. Not just emotionally, not just spiritually, but financially, strategically, radically. This is the moment that shifts the atmosphere around your destiny. You're stepping into a dimension where favor isn't just an idea, it's the law, and everything in your life is about to start responding to it. This breakthrough is not based on luck, it's not random. It's not happening because you networked with the right people or stumbled into the right place. It's happening because you were chosen before the foundation of the world, long before you had a bank account, long before you had a name, long before anyone saw your potential. Heaven already knew what was placed inside of you. The oil on your life, the gifts you carry, the anointing you bear. None of it is by accident. You were born with billionaire DNA. That's why you've never quite fit in. That's why ordinary never satisfied you. That's why mediocrity made you restless. Because something in you knew you were made for more, even when you had nothing to show for it. Even when you were broke, tired, confused, surrounded by people who couldn't see what God saw in you. Something in your spirit whispered, hold on, it's coming. And now the waiting has ended. God is delivering on every silent promise He whispered in your lowest moments. Every time you said, I trust you anyway, when it looked like all hope was gone, God was writing it down. Every time you chose faith over fear, integrity over shortcuts, obedience over comfort, He was storing up your reward. And now the vaults of heaven are opening with your name carved into the blessing. The life you dreamed of, the financial freedom, the ability to bless others without checking your balance, the freedom to walk away from anything that doesn't align with your calling, it's here. Not 5 years from now, not when everything finally feels right, but now. Because this breakthrough has nothing to do with how prepared you feel and everything to do with how prepared God has made you. He doesn't need your perfection. He needs your yes. And if you're still listening, if your heart is still beating faster with every word, it means your spirit has already said yes. You are no longer in waiting mode. You are in receiving mode. The floodgates have been opened. Divine wealth, not just money, but provision, influence, authority, opportunities, and supernatural acceleration is being dispatched to your location. Angels have already been instructed to clear the path. Every obstacle is being removed. Every delay is being overturned. Every closed door is being shattered. You are walking into a new economy, one not built by man, but built by the throne of heaven. And here's why it had to happen this way. You weren't rejected. You were hidden in plain sight. While others were building platforms, you were being built from the inside out. While others were getting applause, you were learning endurance. While others were chasing validation, you were getting your roots deep in truth, in trust, in power. And because of that, because you didn't skip the process, what's coming to you will last. It won't crumble under pressure. It won't vanish with one crisis. It won't depend on the opinion of others. What's coming to you is built on covenant, not convenience. You're not just going to rise, you're going to be established. There's a difference. A quick rise can be impressive, but an established one is unstoppable. And you, chosen one, are about to be established in a way that no man, no demon, no setback can undo. While you were questioning yourself, doubting your worth, wondering if you had missed your moment, God was actually preserving your anointing. He was protecting your gift. He was guarding your purpose. He knew that if you went up too early, the wrong people would try to claim credit for your success. But now they won't be able to touch it. Because when you rise, it'll be obvious to everyone that only God could have done it. They'll have no choice but to admit that something beyond logic is at work in your life, and that's the beauty of divine timing. When it's your time, nothing can stop it. Not betrayal, not bankruptcy, not delays, not rejection, not even your own mistakes. When heaven says, it's time, every chain breaks, every wall falls, every system aligns. And right now, this very moment, heaven is saying, it's time. You've been running after peace, running after purpose, running after provision. But from this day forward, the chase ends. Because what you've been pursuing is now going to pursue you. You're entering into a season where favor will find you, where people will bless you without knowing why, where resources will appear the moment you need them, where answers will come before you even ask. That's what happens when wealth is assigned to your spirit. It begins to recognize you. It finds its way to your door. You don't have to knock. It will knock for you. Not because you manipulated anything, but because you aligned with the voice of God. And now, everything that has your name on it is being released. All the business ideas you shelved, all the visions you buried, all the dreams you almost gave up on, they're being resurrected. And this time, they won't collapse, because this time, they're being built with heaven's hand. It's going to feel like acceleration, like everything is happening faster than you thought possible. But don't panic, it's not too fast. It's right on schedule. God is making up for the lost time. For every year you spent in lack, for every season you spent in confusion, for every moment you wondered if he had forgotten you. He didn't. He was preparing the right people, the right platform, the right moment. And now everything is converging. Your faith has matured. Your spirit is ready. Your identity is secure. You don't need to fight for the spotlight. You are the light. And the world is about to see what happens when a chosen one is launched by heaven itself. It starts with a whisper, but it ends with thunder. Right now, there's a shaking in the spirit realm, and it's because the chains around your wealth are breaking. God is unblocking every blessing that's been held back. He's unfreezing every opportunity that was stuck. He's releasing every divine connection that was trapped behind enemy lines. It's all being redirected to you now. Suddenly, instantly, miraculously, because you didn't quit, because you kept believing, because you are his, and he does not forget his own. So breathe deep, chosen one. Step boldly. Walk forward without hesitation, because you're not chasing anymore. You're receiving, and your billionaire breakthrough is not coming. It's here. You've waited, you've watched, you've wept. You've held on to promises when everything around you screamed, give up. You've endured seasons that stretched your faith to its limit, walked through disappointment so deep you couldn't even put the pain into words, and still, you held on. And now, finally, heaven is moving. But not in the way you expected, not slow, not steady, suddenly. Acceleration is being poured over your life like oil from heaven's storehouse. What should have taken 10 years is going to take 10 months. What should have taken 10 months will take 10 days. And what should have taken 10 days will take a moment. That's how fast God is moving in your life right now. The delay you thought was permanent is now being flipped into divine speed. Time is collapsing around your obedience. It may look like things are just starting, but in the spirit, they've already been completed. The breakthroughs, the contracts, the wealth transfers, the open doors, they are not forming now. They are being revealed now. What they didn't tell you was that the waiting wasn't punishment. It was preparation. You were being calibrated for the blessing so you wouldn't self-destruct once it arrived. God was building your endurance, your humility, your spiritual stamina. He wasn't holding the blessing back. He was holding you together, keeping you grounded so that when the blessing came, it wouldn't crush you. And now, The pressure has produced something unstoppable in you. That's why this acceleration won't shake you. It'll launch you. You've been walking, but now you're about to run. You've been crawling, but now you're about to soar. The spiritual winds are shifting, and they are behind your back, pushing you into places you once only dreamed of. People will think you skipped steps. They'll whisper, "How did they get there so fast?" But you'll know the truth. This isn't speed without struggle. It's reward after refinement. It's heaven's justice for your journey. You were slowed down so that when your time came, nothing could stop you. And they laughed, didn't they? They rolled their eyes. They told you to be realistic. They watched you suffer, struggle, fall, and get back up. And they thought you were a fool for believing. You heard them. You felt their doubt, their silence, their distance. Some of them were even people you loved. People who said they supported you until your faith made them uncomfortable. People who clapped for others but stayed quiet for you. People who only showed up when you were down but disappeared the moment you spoke of greatness. They couldn't see what you carried. They couldn't handle your fire. And so they dismissed you, minimized you, wrote you off. But God didn't, and now He's about to prove it. This next season is going to shock them. Not in a petty way, not in a look at me now kind of way, but in a heaven-backed unveiling, because what God is about to do in your life will make even your enemies acknowledge His hand. The blessing coming your way is so massive, so undeniable, so otherworldly, that people who once ridiculed your dreams will now ask for your wisdom. They'll watch from the sidelines in awe, unable to explain how the person they counted out became the person that heaven lifted up. You see, they didn't understand that what they were mocking wasn't just you, it was the anointing on your life. And you can't mock what God has sealed. You can't curse what God has already called blessed. You're not rising for revenge. You're rising because God said it's time. And as you rise, don't be surprised when the very same mouths that spoke against you begin to speak your name in reverence. Don't be shocked when doors open with no explanation, when favor surrounds you like a shield, when every past rejection turns into a setup for recognition. This is divine reversal. It's the season of tables turning. And guess who's being seated at the head of the table? You. Not because you're better, but because you were obedient. While they were mocking, you were praying. While they were networking, you were kneeling. While they were chasing trends, you were following truth. And now the truth is being rewarded, openly, abundantly, unapologetically. But here's the part they never see, the backstage of your breakthrough. While they see the blessing, they won't see the behind-the-scenes obedience. They won't see the nights you sowed in silence, the days you served with nothing in return, the hours you spent battling demons they never knew you faced. But God saw. And that's why He's doing this, not to make you famous, but to make His faithfulness visible through your life. You're not just a success story. You're a sign, a billboard for what heaven can do through someone who simply refuses to quit. And while you've been faithfully walking your path, something wild has been happening in the background. Your name has been traveling into rooms you've never stepped foot in. Discussions have been taking place, meetings you weren't invited to, decisions being made, and your name, it's been spoken. Not by people who know your whole story, not by people who owe you anything, but by people who feel a stirring when they hear about you. Something about your spirit, your essence, your energy is triggering divine appointments, because favor knows how to find you, even when you feel invisible. While you've been praying in your room, heaven has been broadcasting your assignment to the right ears. You are being remembered by people you've never met. The connections, the alignments, the open doors are not coming through your own effort. They're coming through divine orchestration. You didn't hustle your way in. You were ushered in by unseen hands. And that's why no one can block you. No jealousy, no gossip, no sabotage can touch what heaven has released. Because this elevation isn't about status, it's about purpose. And your purpose is now commanding attention in places you never applied to. Your name is becoming a magnet for resources, a trigger for solutions, a signal that God is moving. And as this happens, prepare yourself, Prepare for strange favor. Prepare for sudden calls, unexpected checks, emails from people of influence who were drawn to your name and can't explain why. It's not a coincidence. It's covenant. Heaven has signed off on your next season, and your reputation is being upgraded in the unseen. You'll walk into places where they already know your story. You'll sit at tables you were once too afraid to dream about. And when you get there, you won't feel like an imposter. You'll feel appointed, because deep down, your spirit has always known you belong here. This isn't just promotion, it's prophetic placement. This isn't about chasing recognition. This is about walking into rooms where your presence shifts the atmosphere. And when they ask, "How did you get here?" you'll say, "I didn't get here, I was sent." Because when you're chosen, you don't have to chase, you attract. And your life is now entering the gravitational pull of supernatural abundance. Get ready, because every step you take from here on out is divinely guided, heavily favored, and prophetically protected. You are being released into rooms, realms, and revenues you never imagined. Because your name is no longer just a name. It's a sound in heaven that moves things on earth. You were never meant to struggle forever. That's the part nobody told you. That you weren't created to live your entire life just getting by, scraping for survival, praying for just enough. No, that's not the story heaven wrote for you. That's the story the world tried to convince you of. That if you just work a little harder, stretch a little further, sacrifice a little more, maybe, just maybe, you'll have enough to sleep peacefully at night. But God says no. He says that mindset was never yours to carry. The struggle wasn't your destiny. It was a distortion, a system designed to break your back but not your faith. You were never designed to beg for blessings. You were born with divine inheritance flowing through your spirit. Abundance is not some wild fantasy for the lucky few, it's your birthright. Because you come from a line of promise. You were made in the image of the Creator of the universe, the one who lacks nothing, the one who owns it all, the one who speaks worlds into existence. Why would he create you to live in lack when he himself is the very definition of overflow? The problem is, we've been taught to be ashamed of wanting more, conditioned to feel guilty for dreaming big, made to believe that poverty is holy and wealth is dangerous. But here's the truth. Poverty is not piety, it's bondage. It silences your voice, limits your impact, and forces you to play small. And the enemy loves that. Because as long as you stay small, you won't shake anything. But God didn't call you to be silent. He didn't form you in the womb just to watch you fold under pressure. He called you to dominate, to expand, to multiply. And that takes resources. It takes influence. It takes financial power. Not to flaunt, but to build, to heal, to reach, to rescue, to fund the vision He placed in you before your first breath. You've seen glimpses of it, the moments when your imagination ran wild and your heart burned with vision. That wasn't fantasy, that was prophecy. That was heaven reminding you that you were made for more. The abundance that's coming your way now isn't a luxury, it's alignment. It's everything finally clicking into place. And when it comes, don't second guess it. Don't apologize for it. Don't downplay it so others feel comfortable. Wear it boldly, not for ego, but for mission. Let your overflow be the answer to someone else's prayer. Let your blessing be the beginning of someone else's breakthrough. You are not just stepping into wealth for yourself, you're stepping into kingdom wealth. Wealth that blesses homes, revives families, rebuilds communities. Wealth that answers generational curses with generational solutions. Wealth that turns legacy into reality. And it's not just coming, it's activated. Because you didn't just survive, you grew, you matured, you stayed faithful. You gave when you had barely enough, and heaven recorded it all. The seeds you planted in silence are now exploding in public. The harvest you forgot about is now showing up with interest. And it's important to understand, the struggle was never really about money. That was just the surface. The real battle was spiritual. The real war was about your faith, because faith is the currency of heaven. And the moment you refuse to let go, The moment you kept believing even when you had no proof, no confirmation, no support, you shifted something in the spirit. That's what triggered this release. It wasn't about impressing God with your perfection. It was about trusting Him in your imperfection. You thought the enemy was attacking your wallet, but he was actually attacking your worship, because he knew if he could get you to focus on lack, you'd forget your identity. He knew if he could distract you with bills and burdens, you'd stop speaking with authority. But you didn't break. You may have bent, cried, screamed, questioned, but you didn't walk away. You kept showing up, kept praying, kept listening, kept surrendering. And every moment you stayed planted, your roots went deeper. You were becoming immovable, unshakable, dangerous to the kingdom of darkness. That's why what's coming next is not just financial, it's emotional healing, it's spiritual elevation, it's mental clarity, it's relational restoration, it's a full-circle redemption story. You're about to look at your life and say, "Now I understand." You'll see how every no was actually protection, every loss was actually positioning, every dry season was a training ground for this next chapter. You won't just feel relief, you'll feel purpose again, vision again, fire again, because the fog is lifting, the pressure is breaking, and in its place is peace that makes no sense, confidence that's not cocky but called, strategy that comes straight from heaven's blueprint. You won't need to force anything, it will flow. You won't need to beg for favor, you'll carry it. This is not about returning to who you were before the struggle. This is about rising into who you became through the struggle. You're not going back, you're going forward, but this time with authority, with access, with wisdom that can't be taught in books, with discernment that only comes from divine encounters. You've graduated from survival. You've crossed over from panic to peace, from delay to destiny, from barely enough to overflow. And that shift, that elevation, started the moment you realized the money was never the mission. The mission was your faith. And now that your faith has been proven in the fire, you're ready. Ready for what others couldn't handle. Ready for what the past version of you couldn't carry. Ready for the wealth. Ready for the doors. Ready for the calling. Ready for the next level. And heaven is saying, "Well done. Now watch what I do next." Heaven has spoken. The verdict has been declared. And once heaven declares something over your life, nothing in hell can overturn it. That's the part the enemy never wants you to realize. That your destiny isn't up for debate. That what's been sealed in heaven can't be cancelled on earth. That the divine decree over your life was signed with authority far greater than your circumstances, your past mistakes, or your present fears. While the enemy tried to convince you that your time had passed, that your opportunity was gone, that the promises you were holding on to were just emotional dreams, God never stopped speaking your name in rooms the enemy can't enter. Your name was never erased from the scroll of destiny. It was written in ink that storms couldn't wash away and demons couldn't touch. And now that word, that ancient, eternal, unbreakable word, is activating. It's not just a word of encouragement, it's a command, a release, a transfer, a spiritual explosion of everything that's been stored up on your behalf while you walked through fire, confusion, and delay. You were being shaped to carry what others would have squandered. And now that your heart has endured the crushing and your faith has survived the testing, the release cannot be stopped. Hell has thrown its best at you. It tried to distract you with disappointment, delay, and doubt. It tried to silence your prayers with pressure, to drown your vision with noise, to suffocate your belief with back-to-back attacks that came without warning. But the enemy underestimated your endurance. He didn't realize that every storm just made you dig deeper, that every closed door only made you more desperate for divine access, that every tear you cried watered the seed of your calling. And now that you've survived what was meant to destroy you, you've stepped into a realm the enemy can't touch. This isn't just breakthrough, it's vindication. It's heaven announcing to every principality, every darkness, every spiritual force that tried to hold you down, you failed. They didn't quit, they didn't fold, they didn't surrender, and now because of their faithfulness. They're walking into the overflow you tried to block. This moment is holy, and it's final. No more going back and forth with your destiny. No more second-guessing if you're worthy. No more apologizing for being called. Heaven has declared you ready, and hell has no choice but to watch. The spiritual court has ruled, and the verdict is favor. The judgment is release. The sentence is abundance. You don't need a second opinion, because the one who created all things has already said yes. And his yes doesn't come with fine print. His yes doesn't depend on your perfection. His yes is anchored in your obedience, your surrender, your persistence. That's what qualifies you. That's what positioned you. That's what unlocked this wealth. And now that it's flowing, there's no turning back. This is not a moment to hesitate. This is not the time to wait for more confirmation. You've already heard enough. You've already seen the signs, the dreams, the stirrings, the divine delays that protected you from settling. The strange moments where something told you not to give up. That wasn't your imagination. That was your spirit aligning with heaven's frequency. That was your soul remembering its assignment. And now, heaven is not just whispering. It's roaring. It's saying, move now. Because what's been opened will not stay open forever. Divine windows are temporary. They come with urgency because they are attached to timing. And if you don't move when the door is open, you risk staying behind in a season that's already expired. This is your moment to step through. This is the invitation to exit the cycle of survival and step into the rhythm of supernatural overflow. Not next week, not when everything feels safe, not when you've triple-checked every detail. Now, because faith doesn't wait for certainty, faith leaps when it hears the voice of the Father. And he is speaking now. He is saying that the wealth, the visibility, the strategy, the alignment, it's all prepared. The table has already been set. Your seat is already pulled out. The only thing left to do is walk in. And yes, it will feel unfamiliar. Yes, it might stretch your comfort zone. Yes, it will challenge everything you thought you knew about what you deserved. But this is what you were made for. This is what all the pain was preparing you for. Not to repeat the same patterns, but to break them. You are the pattern breaker, the one sent to disrupt generational limits, the one raised up to carry blessings that your bloodline has never seen before, the one sent to build what others only dreamed of, the one who says, "It ends with me, and abundance begins with me." You're not just receiving a breakthrough, you're receiving a mandate, a divine instruction to live boldly, love deeply, build fearlessly, and give generously. You are stepping into the kind of abundance that doesn't just bless you. It blesses everyone connected to you. The kind that pours into others just because they're in your presence. The kind that shifts atmospheres, funds movements, builds legacies. But the window won't stay open forever. That's why this is a now word, a now moment, a now calling. If you try to wait for perfect timing, you'll miss the supernatural invitation. If you wait until you feel ready, you'll talk yourself out of the very thing you've been praying for. This is the moment where fear has to bow, where doubt has to die, where hesitation is replaced with holy boldness. Because the invitation has your name on it, but the decision is yours. Will you step forward and claim what heaven already released? Or will you stay behind, replaying old fears and delaying what's already been activated? This isn't about hype. It's about hearing. And if your spirit is on fire right now, it's because something in you knows this is real. Something in you recognizes the sound of breakthrough when it comes. And it's here, not someday, today. Don't miss it. Don't shrink back. Don't let the old you talk the called you out of this blessing. The page has already turned. The story has already shifted. The wealth is already assigned. And now it's your move. Step through the gate. Cross the threshold. Live like someone who's been chosen, called, and crowned. Because heaven has done its part. And now it's your time. Don't miss it. Don't hesitate. Receive it. Move. Now.